Hi, and welcome to How to Write a CEA Paragraph. And in reality, when we're talking about how to write a CEA paragraph, we're really talking about how to write the best CEA paragraph your teacher will have ever read. In order to do that, one of the most important steps, and the one that I first suggest to students, is to make sure to do your research. You want to be considered an expert on the topic you are writing about, just like you are going to be using other experts in order to back up your own argument. Some of the ways I suggest to students to become an expert is by watching videos. YouTube is a great place to go in order to see some visuals and gain some knowledge on what you are researching. In addition, you may want to read several different articles by several different experts in that field so that you can get a good idea of whether or not you're going to A, find enough information about your topic, and then B, learn more about your topic from several different perspectives. In addition, you're also going to want to talk to other people about your topic. You could talk to your parents or another adult at home, in addition to other teachers as well as friends about your topic before you begin writing. This would be considered the most important step of writing a CEA because, again, you want to make sure you're comfortable knowing about your topic or learning about your topic before you actually start writing. As we begin to start writing our CEA, we want to make sure that we understand the elements of a CEA, or what a CEA stands for. The C stands for claim. This is where you are giving your opinion or argument on a topic, either chosen by the teacher or by yourself, that you are then going to have to back up in the rest of your paragraph. The E is evidence. This is usually direct quotes from several different experts on your topic. Again, these experts should be people that are going to back up what you are saying and prove it to be true. Eventually, your evidence can also be paraphrased from these same experts. The A, or analysis, is your writing and your thoughts of how you are going to connect or prove that evidence to your claim. It's really that thought process of why you are trying to prove your claim to be true. Here we can see two different examples of claims. On the left, you will notice a stronger claim than on the right. On the left, it says living in the desert would be hard. This is an example claim that is considered strong because somebody could argue against it, saying that living in the desert would be pleasant or living in the desert would be easy, and then they would have to back up their own argument. On the right-hand side, a weak argument might say something like deserts do not have much water. Although this is true, it is considered a fact, and nobody is really going to argue against you that deserts do not have much water, thus being a weak argument. So again, we would stick with our argument on the left saying living in the desert would be hard. Using this argument then, I want to find several pieces of evidence that are going to back up what I am saying, and I want to make sure that my evidence is coming from an expert. So for instance, on the left here, you will see that I have a stronger piece of evidence that says the Atacama Desert in Chile, known as the driest place on earth, receives less than 1 inch of rain per year, and some years gets virtually none at all. You will then see I have my citation, so on and so forth. This is a great piece of evidence because it is giving me a specific number to work with, as well as a specific place that I can then visualize why living in the desert might be hard. On the right-hand side here, you will see a weaker example that says extreme temperatures combined with little rainfall make desert life difficult for people, plants, and animals. This example here is really just repeating, but not giving specific examples of why living in the desert would be hard. And again, my suggestion here is that you're going to try to find specific numbers or places that are referenced that show living in the desert would be hard versus just repeating my claim. This page is just showing you some tips and tricks when you are writing your evidence. The most important thing when you are writing your evidence is to make sure that you are not claiming this evidence as your own or saying that you came up with this statistic. So you need to make sure you say your evidence properly with author's last name, year, and the paragraph number. These three things go in parentheses after your evidence. So you can see here that I've put my evidence in quotations. I've taken away the period that used to be at the end of this sentence, and moved it all the way after my citation. This shows that my citation belongs to this piece of evidence. And if needed, then people could go and look up more information from this author about either living in the Atacama Desert or living in the desert in general. Again, as we've talked about before, you want to make sure that you have several different pieces of evidence from different experts in that field of study so that people can see that it's not only you and one other person who believe in this argument or believe in this claim. So again, looking for several different sources or several different pieces of evidence from different people within that field of study. And just remember, when in doubt, ask a teacher or another adult to look over your work before submitting. Anyone would be happy to do so. The last element of a CEA is an example analysis, as you can see here. Again, your analysis should be several well thought out sentences in which you are tying your claim and evidence together and putting it into your own words. In my analysis here, I talk not only about how receiving less than 1 inch of rain per year or receiving little rain would be considered hard because people need water to survive, but in addition, as people then adapt the desert to their lifestyles or bringing in alternative sources of water, that they're not truly living in the desert. They are making it survivable and even enjoyable by bringing in those alternate sources. You'll notice the last tip I have here is making sure that we avoid the first and second person in our writing. This includes pronouns such as I, me, we, us, you. You'll want to replace these pronouns with the word one. I also, in my analysis that you can see on this page, replaced it with the word people. So again, our analysis is connecting our claim and evidence together using our own words, and this should be the longest part of your CEA. If you are somebody who is just starting out and unsure of how to start your own analysis, these are some different sentence stems that you could use. Again, if I was looking at number 1, which says this is significant because, I would then explain why my piece of evidence is significant or important and explain in my few sentences from there. A completed CEA or in a CEA outline should look something like this. The first thing that you're going to want to do is make sure that you have your claim as the very first sentence because the reader wants to know what your entire paragraph is about. As you go from evidence 1 to evidence 2 and then evidence 2 to evidence 3, you're going to want to make sure that you have a transition. A transition sentence is going to give a generalization or a preview of what your topic is talking about. Then you're going to move into evidence 1 and analyzing that piece of evidence, so on and so forth. The very last thing you're going to want in your paragraph is a closing sentence, and this is a recap of everything that you have talked about in your CEA, as well as what else do you need to say to prove your point. Here is an example of a completed CEA. This example, you will notice, has the most color-coded in orange here because this is really where you are proving your argument. So I started out with my topic sentence, and my analysis is proving this is what my argument is about, as well as why I believe my argument to be true. Your completed CEA will have, again, all of the elements that I just listed in that outline for you, starting off with that topic sentence. Moving into a transition, evidence 1 and analysis 1. Then transitioning to my second piece of evidence. You'll notice that I use great transition words here, such as first of all, and next, and lastly. And I'm ending with a closing sentence, letting the reader know that I'm ready to move on to my either next claim and recapping exactly what I have talked about here. If you have any questions about how to write a CEA, please feel free to reference this video again and again, as well as reach out to any of your teachers.